Hello, hello, hello everyone, it's your buddy Jayrassic, and I'm hoping that you are having the best day of your entire life today. And if you're the first time, as your first time viewing this channel, feel free to subscribe if you like speed builds and everything like that, because I do try to release content on a weekly basis. Also, if you're returning, make sure you like this video, so then that way I know that this is the type of content that you want to see. Well, today we are back in the Omaha Zoo, and we are nearly finished with the Omaha Zoo. We have this Amazon area that we are doing, and we're in the last area. So basically we have two more exhibits, or two more habitats, and then the jungle, or actually, so about three more habitats, and then of course the jungle trail. And then that will basically sum up this season for the Omaha Zoo. And just in time for that whole DLC that is coming out here on December 14th. Which we are eagerly awaiting, which I'm actually really shocked that we didn't get any of the previews of the animals today, like we normally do. So I guess my schedule prediction was a little off from my previous video, but hey, you know what? It's okay. So basically, just to let you know, for this area, as you can see, I'm doing again some fake exhibits alongside with some in-game exhibits. And speaking of in-game exhibits, I'm really stoked about the salamander that is coming out with the new DLC. That's probably going to be my favorite of all time. Of course, don't get me wrong, you know, the Lynx is really nice and everything like that, but other than that, I think it's the really ultimately the salamander that I'm eager for. Plus all the 250 new building pieces alone. I'm really excited to be able to get my hands on some new building pieces, because you know me, I love to build. In fact, I like building the buildings more than I actually like the habitats and so forth. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love animals. That's one reason why I love Planetzoo, but the buildings themselves are what really pushes me to keep doing the stuff that I'm doing. So, long story short here, so we are, as you can see, I'm just, you know, basically putting in a lot of different exhibits and so forth in this area, and that's basically all this area is. It's just exhibits. I'm using a lot of the faux rock, the faux tree roots and so forth to kind of give it that overgrown jungle feel of a cavern and so forth. And that's one thing that I really love about the Live Jungle is the fact that, you know, they have the big open areas, they have the Laurel Jungle Trail area, the Stingray River, and then of course, you know, they have each different area is separated by a cavern with a bunch of exhibits, and that's one reason I love the scenery mods that Nick and Jojo has been doing, and a bunch of other modders have been creating, and so then I have that capability to keep on moving. In fact, it almost comes down to where I really, and I say this all the time, and I just wish I had more time to do it, but I just almost to the point where I need to start making my own mods, so that I can actually create mods that I would use for my own game. So I think the biggest setback for me on this whole build was the amount of space this cavern took up. I mean, there's a lot of South American exhibit animals that just, I mean, I think there's like 12 or 13 total, and that's not including the modded ones that I put in there. So, I mean, it definitely took a lot of space, and the way that things were arranged with the pathing and stuff like that, it's really difficult to fit this in. The other downside is now I have this big open area in the back area that I could probably use for, I could have used for an exhibit, or something else, but since I created this cavern and everything, it didn't really go out exactly the way I wanted to. and I've said it before, and I'm probably going to say it again. I've been almost half tempted to just go ahead and delete the entire light jungle and redo it, just because I've learned a lot of different things of what I can and cannot do in the game that I didn't know before I started this build. Like, for example, the proper way to make a 2-level habitat. Also, I've learned how to actually create a habitat kind of floating in the air versus, and not really floating, but up in the higher up at different levels of elevation within this building. Unfortunately, I kind of learned how to do that a little too late, and nonetheless, because of all that, it has caused some issues with trying to get it. The other thing is, when I started building the habitats and everything, I was more focused on the habitats of where guests were going through, and honestly, I'm really disappointed in myself because I did not at any time create any backstage stuff. I mean, I got like the utility rooms and stuff like that, and stuff for where the staff utilities went, but I didn't really truly make any backstage areas for a lot of the animals. The other thing is the foliage work. As much as I love how the foliage did turn out, I kind of wish I would have went in a couple different directions. After I went ahead and visited and did a zoo tour with Sereno's Rainforest Dome, in our zoo tour episode 3, I think it was, or 4, he had these really nice fake rainforest trees that I started using in the last portion of this build, and I really wish that I had the opportunity to go ahead and redo that area. And as I mentioned, I have a lot of blank space, like right here. Apparently I forgot to edit this part out, but as you can see, there's a lot of space right here that I could have easily used for something else. So that whole area is just rocky, and the only way to really hide that is basically some foliage and everything like that. So nonetheless, I gotta find a way to make either redo this whole entire build from scratch, which I really don't want to do, or just go ahead and try a different approach. Maybe whether I just kind of delete certain areas and redo it. But I think one of my biggest problems was, honestly, I didn't calculate the height of the pathing correctly. So I got a lot of different levels of pathing between where the guests walk through and also where the staffing area is and so forth. So that caused some complications with trying to make do with some certain areas of exhibits and so forth, as well as placing staff facilities. The other thing is, lately, with one of my builds, I have monkeys escaping all the time. And what's funny, I even have it set to where I have it on the sandbox setting on creative, so I don't have to worry about animal escapes and everything, but for whatever reason, they're still escaping. No idea why that is. So there's a lot of bugs with this build that is starting me, as much as I love it, I kind of hate it. And it kind of makes me wish, and it was a fun build too. So nonetheless, I've been really contemplating on maybe just rebuilding it. But I will give you a little sneak peek a little later in the walkthrough of some of the other exhibits that I've completed already. I'm hoping to have this all recorded and over with within the next few weeks, to have everything completely recorded and ready to go. And then we can finally just kind of close a chapter with the live jungle. Now down the road I may go ahead and return back to it. The 1.8 DLC is right around the corner, and it'll be interesting to see what happens if my game gets corrupted, because for whatever reason, almost after every update, it never fails, something in my file gets corrupted or whatever, and I can't retrieve it, and I gotta start all over again. And honestly, if that's the case, I may just go ahead and I honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do, to be honest. But the one thing that I will do when 1.8 does come out, I have an area in the Omaha steakhouse area, steakhouse patio, that's in front of the live jungle. That's kind of like an outdoor restaurant. I'm going to redo that with the shop shelves that are coming out of the 1.8 update. So I'm really excited for that. That way I can get rid of all those, all the shop shelves and everything, and kind of give it that real, well, what it really looks like in real life. So I'm excited to be able to do that. I already kind of got a little blueprint made up for it and everything like that. So that way all I got to do is put the shop shelf in there, and away we go. So nonetheless, I'm really excited for the 1.8 DLC that's coming out here next Tuesday, and I'm sure that many of you are as well. I will say though, out of all my predictions, I was wrong about the otter. I'm sorry, I did not think, I mean, when I mentioned about the instruments and the animals, I did not think that stag would be a drum, and it is. Stag does make drums. And stag is also the name of a buck, which for deer, it's an alternative name for a male deer. So with that being said, obviously, if I thought about it at the time, it would have been boom, done, easy, and I would have been good to go. So as you can see in the last two clips here, is basically I've been just creating those fake exhibits with the modded animals, you know, here we have Nicholas Lion Rider's Green Anaconda. Very great mod. It comes in like 6 different positions, I believe, or poses, which is really nice. And since the exhibit animals are static anyways, I mean, someone just walking on by, glancing on it, okay, and then they move on. I don't think we really take too long of a look at a lot of these scenery mods, or scenery, or not scenery, but exhibit animals anyways. I mean, I know a couple of us will kind of glance at it at first, but after they come out, you know, I see a lot of creators just put a exhibit down and so forth, and then they just kind of forget about it. So whether or not we get new exhibit animals, it's not too big of a deal, but I really am hoping, and I'm stressing for a lot of the modders out there that are creating these scenery mods to make more of them. I cannot thank you enough for making them to begin with, because these are really, really awesome. And yeah, I can't tell you enough on how great they are looking. Some of the level of details is a little off on a few things, but for the most part, the LODs are pretty right on. Like these new mangrove roots right here that came from the, I think the terrapin. Yeah, I think it's a terrapin, or maybe it's the American profile. Whatever they are, they work great for making jungle implied exhibits. So nonetheless, all I can say is just keep those mods coming. I can't stress how much I'm loving these mods. It'd be nice if we could get some taggers and stuff like that in there, but hey, maybe even some monitors. But you know, I'll take what I can get. So, alright, well, this is about going to wrap it up here for the speed build, and we're going to get right into the complete walkthrough here in just one moment. Alright, and we're back with the live walkthrough here of the Amazon caverns here. So as you can saw in the very beginning, we have you know, our overall cave entrance and so forth. And coming through here,
first thing to our left, we have a green Anaconda, which is a mod done by Nicholas Line Rider. And this area is way better in the dark, so we're gonna go ahead and hit nighttime here. There we go. And to our right, we have a Eyelash Viper, courtesy of Nicholas Lion Rider. So right there. Like I said, I really love these scenery mods. They just are very well done. So thanks again, Nicholas Lion Rider. And moving along. This would be a Brazilian rainbow boa. For some odd reason, I do not have a one of those info board. And of course, we have all our Amazon in-game exhibits. Oh, almost forgot. We got the Emerald Tree Boa over here. Looking snazzy as ever. And yeah, so that kind of brings us over to this back area. Common boa constructor. Bird eater. Kind of a blocked off area. Originally, this is where I was going to try and put some sort of tegu or something like that, but we don't have them in game, so kind of gave up on that. And like I said in the very beginning, in the last video that I did, we were doing a tour of Toad's rainforest dome there. I almost have to just restart this whole thing. And honestly, if it's, I do actually have a clean sheet or a clean version that is undone. And if for whatever reason my game gets corrupted after the update, I will be able to probably have to restart it all again, so which is fine. It is what it is. Yeah, so we got our yellow anacondas, and then that brings us over to the froggies. Bugs. And then we got a couple more implied exhibits over here that I haven't quite decided what to put in here. I'm just kind of waiting to see what's coming out in the next scenery mods. And that brings us up to a little pathway, which I still need to do a little bit more foliage up here. But that overlooks the canopy. Or I guess you could say the emergence in a sense. Of course, be able to see the Colobus monkeys over here, and the pygmy hippos down there. You can see through the brush. Which then will bring us over to our howler monkeys. The last two exhibits over in that area, which we're not going to get too far into it. And yes, those are howler monkey sounds. So there you have it. Our little Amazon cavern. Still needs a little bit of touch up here. But other than that, I think it's looking good. It's looking good. So I ain't complaining too much about it. So So that basically concludes this episode. As always, like I mentioned before, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you like these speed builds, make sure you go ahead and like the video, so then I can go ahead and make more of them for you. Otherwise, till next time, as always, build, play, and enjoy. This is Jayrassic, signing out. Goodbye, everyone.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. Did you enjoy this video? It would really mean a lot to me if you smash that like button to let me know. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon for future video content and notifications of uploads. Also, leave a comment below on what you like about this video and what you'd like to see in the series. You can follow me on Steam, Twitch, and Discord. Till next time, build, play, and enjoy.